Hello everyone, and yes, the series is starting now. सबसे पहला वीडियो is management consultancy. The person which we are having, the guest which we are having is Mr. Divesh Harpalani. I think he doesn't need any introduction, but it's my responsibility to give you the introduction, a brief introduction obviously. So not taking much time. Firstly, academics के बारे में बोले तो he is a All India Rank 13 CA final, All India Rank 6 CA Inter, and he studies BCom from HL Commerce College from Ahmedabad. Coming to non-academics, he is also actively involved in non-academics. He is a good quizzer, I would say, and a very good speaker, very eminent speaker. He has presented papers at various conferences of ICI and also various other forums. And to be honest, he is the person who has motivated me and many of people in our group to present the papers. And yeah, so I could say he is a mentor for us to personal level. And coming to the other things, presently he is associated with Bain Company as management consultant, and so I think he is the best person. Being from the July 21 HM, he knows exactly what is the latest trend which is going on with the interview thing, with the management consultancy thing, and what you can expect as a CA fresher. So yeah, the best person which I think to tell us about management consultancy is with us. Only thing which I require from you is please share the video and subscribe to the channel, and please do hit the like button, because this is the only motivation which both of us are having at this point of time, because we are utilizing our weekends for this. The only thing which we expect is कि ये सबसे ज़्यादा लोगों के पास पहुँचे. So if आप इधर तक पहुँचे हो और लोगों को यहाँ पे पहुँचाओ, वीडियो को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा शेयर करो, सब्सक्राइब करो एंड लाइक करो, एंड लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड, नॉट टेकिंग मच टाइम. हेलो एवरीवन, वेलकम वंस अगेन टू द चैनल. आज मेरे खुद के मेंटर हमारे साथ है मिस्टर दिवेश हल्परानी, who is presently working in Bain Company as management consultant. And to be honest, he has been a mentor for all of us. And I am today interviewing him. So welcome Divesh to the channel.
Thank you, Emang bhai.
Okay, so let's come to the point directly. So point of the interview is कि भाई what management consultancy is, because बहुत स्टूडेंट्स को ये क्वेश्चन है कि मैनेजमेंट कंसल्टिंग है क्या एग्जैक्टली. सो कैन यू प्लीज ब्रीफ अपॉन कि भाई मैनेजमेंट कंसल्टिंग क्या है, एंड सेकंडली व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ सीए फ्रेशर अगर जो मैनेजमेंट कंसल्टिंग में जा रहा है, तो व्हाट ही कैन एक्सपेक्ट एंड व्हाट ही विल बी डूइंग. सो व्हाट इज योर डे टू डे लाइफ, आपका किस तरह से चल रहा है?
Right. I think I'll break this question into three parts. One, what is management consulting? Second, what's in it for CAs? And third, what does a daily, what does a normal day look like? I think management consulting, if I'm to put it very simply, I can say two things over here. One, it is about problem solving. Problem solving, that is, I would say, solving business problems. Any business might have, so many problems, and not just problems. Business needs to strategize, to grow, to become agile in the changing times, so many things, right? So for all of this, the management of any particular organization takes help of these management consultants, so as to either solve those problems or so as to make those strategies, basically seek their assistance. So this is one the simplest way I could put it. And second is, again, for easier understanding, if I'm to put it this way, this is an MBA role. Generally, what MBAs are taught in the curriculum is for them to be made fit for a role like this. So if that gives a better understanding to the viewers, so I think this is the simplest way how I could explain management consulting. Next is what's in it for chartered accountants. I think so we chartered accountants, I would say, are in general, multi-talented, and not just are good around numbers, but certainly are good around solving business problems as well, right? Which is why probably we are called the doctors of the economy. But keeping that aside as well, I think what management consulting requires is not a person from having a particular qualification, but a person who can probably assist in solving those business problems, who has that thinking ability, who has those analytical skills, that structural thinking, that creative thinking that is required for probably solving the business problems, right? And given the fact that chartered accountants have that analytical thinking in general, have those problem solving skills, at least from the financial viewpoint, but not restricted to it, obviously much more than it as well. That is something that we as chartered accountants can also do so far as management consulting is concerned. But then again, this is not something that is obviously restricted to chartered accountants. Can't say that. This is a very broad role, and you will see people who've done probably pharmacy and then gone ahead and done MBA also. There's a guy who's probably worked in ISRO as well, but then is a part of management consulting. There are people, obviously there are people, there are fresher IITians, there are people from architecture. So basically, there's not one technical skill that is required, I would say. The only thing that is required at the end of the day is the problem solving and analytical skill, right, for to solve business problems, the holistic view towards things. So that's how it includes chartered accountants as well. And obviously it is one of the growing avenues for a chartered accountant. I mean, career opportunity, a newer career opportunity, which comparatively chartered accountants weren't either aware of or weren't preferred for earlier, right? And the third that I would say is, your third question is, how does a normal day look like? Honestly, no 2 days are same in consulting. No two problems are same. Every problem is different. Every organization might have a different problem. Similarly, every day we might go ahead and do something different. It's totally different from something like those traditional roles, wherein more or less it is. I wouldn't really call the traditional roles as monotonous, but at least it's known as to what is to be done. There is a set procedure. Probably if it's audit, there's a set procedure of doing things. But it's not the same in case of management consulting, because it is very dynamic in nature. Like I mentioned, every problem is going to be a different problem. Similarly, to solve those problems, the approach that is to be adopted is bound to be the same. So every day will look different, but I would say the tasks that we involve ourselves into are very broad, and I cannot really put it into one sentence. But at the end of the day, I will say, obviously, uh, something like a benchmarking, something like speaking to experts, doing market research, doing probably and a lot of analysis is involved, so as to at the end of the day strategize, and all of this is the very base of things, which ultimately converts into something like a presentation, which is a deliverable for us to the clients.
So if I put it in a summarized form, you are, you are a person जो CFO, CEO, all management level का आप सब पेन उठा के you are giving them the deliverables. जितना भी उनका दिक्कत है, you are the person who is helping them to solve them. I won't say actually solve them, but you are the person who are assisting and helping them to solve the problem,
Right.
or you are giving them the alternative that your problem can be solved in these different ways.
Right. Yeah. Assistance in problem solving is the perfect way to put it.
Okay, so got the point. So now comes to the second question. Okay, yeah, we got the point what is management consulting is, but who can be a management consultant? I have completed CA, I am a CA fresher, so can I be a part? And secondly, how can I approach a management consulting firm? So we know the three main firms, that is MBB, what they spell it, McKinsey, BCG, and Bain and Company. So how can we approach them? So there are the two questions for you again.
I would say, I think one we need to understand is what are the management consulting firms out there, and MBB is obviously the big three management consulting firms, the top three, as I would say. Amongst these three, I think McKinsey, to the extent I know, doesn't really hire fresher chartered accountants, but BCG and Bain do hire fresher chartered accountants, right? But it's not just limited to McKinsey, BCG, and Bain. There are various other consulting firms as well, and in fact, Big Four as well also has a separate domain, or a separate department, if I'm to put it that way, for management consulting. But there's obviously a thin light out difference between what the Big Three does and what the Big Four does in management consulting. The management consulting around Big Three majorly is strategizing, while management consulting in Big Four majorly is implementation oriented. While I'm not saying that would be the case for every particular case, but that's what the general thing holds, right? So there might be a lot many consulting firms beyond Big Four and Big Three as well. But talking about Big Three specifically, like I mentioned, McKinsey doesn't hire fresher chartered accountants, while Bain and BCG do hold separate recruitment drives for each of, after each CA final results. Yeah,
Okay.
after every attempt. And Big Four also, like the other departments, they hold interviews for hiring into management consulting, and that's how it goes for Big Four as well. And
Okay.
as to how would one fresher CA approach these firms, if that is a question that is concerned, like I mentioned specifically for BN and BCG, they roll out a survey. They have a specific CV format. They have a particular date until which the CV is to be submitted. Like for Bain, it is 20th of February. So for all those who want to get considered for this cycle, need to submit their CV before 20th of February, right? And Big Four might be having their own sweet procedure. Like I mentioned, more or less in the Big Four, the hiring the procedure is more or less the same as the procedure is for
Yes.
other departments. So that's how it goes.
So traditional and non-traditional, Big Four is the same way that you approach, but for Big Three, you have this survey and their specific CV format, which
Right.
I
This
think
is to
so.
the best
All
of
the
my knowledge.
yeah, okay. And these, I think so. Everyone, even in our attempt, we also got those messages, and I think so. Everyone might have got the message by now. Okay. So coming to the question once again, that who can be a part of Big Three? A chartered accountant, or a first attempt chartered accountant, a ranker, a Big Four Article 6 person? Who can be?
Okay, so again, you said Big Three, and again, I would like to reiterate, McKinsey doesn't have fresh chartered accountants. So talking about Bain BCG again, while there are no defined criteria for this, but what each of them say and what I've also seen is their preference is rank holders at either of the levels, and or a Big Four articleship, and or strong extracurricular. So generally, it is seen that these three are, I mean, these are the three areas, and one needs to have spikes in at least two out of these three, so as for one to get shortlisted at BNBCG. So again, repeating, it would be a rank at either of the levels, Big Four articleship, and strong extracurriculars. So that's the major preferences. Obviously, exceptions being there, but generally, with someone having a spike in either any two of the three would be preferred. But then again, it depends. I mean, competition is always relative. If there are, say, 20 people or 30 people are going to get shortlisted, the 30 with the best CV will get shortlisted, obviously.
Okay, okay. So again, it depends related, but you gave the broad idea that these are the three major criteria. You have to be at least in two. You should have a spike. Okay. So now we got to know what management consulting is. Who all are, we would say, not exactly eligible, but who can be the most eligible person for uh,
Preferred.
being a part of management consultancy. And now coming to the third question, that what can you expect, or what can you expect from management consultancy as a chartered accountant? What learnings, or if you can say a pros and cons thing for a chartered accountant in management consultancy?
I think there's a different way for each one to look at the pros and cons, and so is the case with me as well. So I wouldn't say my word is to be taken as a given, but I'll and this answer is very subjective, so it needs to be taken as one. I would say pros and cons again. One of the pros, and I'll put the same as cons as well. The biggest pro is the fact that you get to do a lot of dynamic work, right? As against probably what people say is monotonous work when it comes to the traditional roles, and which people don't want to do. So management consulting is very, very dynamic in that sense, but which again to an extent becomes a con as well, in the sense that you never really feel that. I mean, that again depends from person to person, but you might always feel that void as to you not having developed a technical expertise in one particular domain. I mean, when you do
Okay,
tax
right.
for like 2-3 years, you will know that you've probably developed an expertise into tax, which might not be the case in consulting, because every two problems are different problems. But yeah, in the longer run in consulting, there is obviously sector based specialization. Say, for
Yes.
example, a finance sector versus a retail sector, etc. So that is a pro as well as a con, depending on how you want to look at it. Again, one of the biggest pros, specifically in consulting, is you get to work with some of the brilliant minds. I mean, usually these, at least the big three, they hire from the top B schools of the country and abroad. So that way you will get to work with probably people from IIM Ahmedabad, and it's very normal because every second person would be either someone from IIM Ahmedabad or Bangalore or XLRI Jamshedpur, etc. So you looking up to them, you get to learn a lot of good things from them. You develop a good network, which is obviously a big pro that I see. Again, putting against a con, I feel not against this one, but in general, the one of the cons, and I think this is not a con, but it's the way you look at it. I would certainly not put it as a con. as a con, but everything comes at a cost. And I would say management consulting is well known for its long working hours, because in general any problem is to be solved in a short period of time. And because of the timelines being short, you need to put in those extra hours to have the deliverable within a short period of time. So it comes at a cost of those strenuous working hours. But I think that again, the pro is a learning that you probably get in terms of either interacting with your peers from top B skills, or interacting with the client side, the top folks from the client side, whether it is I mean, I wouldn't really say CEO every time, obviously not, but
But the
amongst
higher
the
level
top
of
few
management,
people, the higher level
yes,
of
the higher
management,
level of the
certainly.
man usually.
So these are
So
the broad pros and cons. Obviously, can detail out, but I think broadly these are the pros and cons that I see for a chartered accountant into management consulting.
okay, so we can say that हर चीज अपने कॉस्ट के साथ आती है एंड हर चीज की कीमत रहती है. So this is the कीमत that you may say, but again it depends on your ideology. If you are a
Your
person who
perspective.
likes learning, then you will be like, हाँ weekends पे भी काम करेंगे हम. Though people don't work, that's a different matter. And I think one of the things which I like about the MBB is that they don't ask you to work on weekends. So I think that is the fact that I have heard from various people, that they don't ask you to work on weekends. For 5 days you have to work, but on weekends you are totally off. Okay. And one more question, that if a person is shortlisted in for management consultancy, what type of interview or what things he should be ready for? I would say interview tips for the person if he is going to give him a management consultancy interview.
Yeah, I think if I have to put it this way, basically what they test in your Himang, am I audible?
What skills, I would say, what skills they would test? If I am a person, see, all are chartered accountants, and if I say for management consultancy, mostly all are from rankers or big four or combination of both, and might be having some spike in some of the things of extracurricular. Okay, so what skill they want to see in me compared to other, based on that they will hire me. A simple, bottom line for them to select me.
Totally understood your point. I think again those things that I answered first was and I want to reiterate, is your problem solving and your thinking ability, your way of approaching a particular problem. So the structural thinking is something that they test the most. It's not the answer that matters, it's the way of reaching that answer is something that they will really look forward and test. And here what is very important is your soft skills. I mean, obviously your problem solving skills, your analytical skills are important, but your soft skills, because what is there in your mind, you also need to communicate to the other person. So communicate effectively, I would say. So which is why being good at soft skills plus obviously I would say I mean, it is the way I would like to put it.
Okay, so I think the people now have the broad idea of what management consultancy is, how you can be a part of management consultancy, and how you can approach the interviews of management consultancy. Thank you, Divesh, for your time. And if you have any tips which you want to give to the people who have just become a chartered accountants, because this video is coming up for all the fresh chartered accountants. So if you want to give any, last message for them from your side.
I think first of all, heartiest congratulations to all those who've cleared and watching this video. Welcoming you wholeheartedly to this CA fraternity. Really happy to have you all as a part of the fraternity. I would say, from what I have seen, I think life really starts from here, and it's not probably becoming a CA was not the end of it. It's just the start of it. Probably it's just the start of the start on the way of on the journey of life, if I'm to put it this way. And it's only as each stage. I mean, school में लगता था school हो जाए तो शांति है, college में लगता college हो जाए तो शांति है. I mean, CA हो जाए तो शांति. It's not that way. I'm not saying शांति नहीं है. It's don't take me that way. But all I'm saying is we are now starting on the journey of life, so there are bound to be challenges, and I think it's now upon us how to deal with those challenges, and take those sportingly. But yeah, being open to opportunities, being open to learning, is something that we should keep in our mind, and being true to ourselves at the end of the day, probably doing justice to the prefix that we've earned for ourselves, and becoming a true professional. I think that's what I would like to convey to all the juniors. And then again, obviously, it's all about experimenting at the end of the day. Everyone will certainly, out of their experiences, learn, and so will we as well. So I think that's the only message I would like to convey. So all the very best on for this journey of life.
Okay, so thank you, Divesh, for your time for this interview. And people, Divesh also has his YouTube channel named Inside Angle, where he usually posts various videos for helping CA students as well as CA, those who have passed the CA examination. So you can subscribe to that channel too and get various contents on the same. And I will post the link of this channel in the description. And again, second thing, if you have any queries with respect to management consultancy or this interview, you can definitely ask it in the comment section. And again, I will put the link of LinkedIn. I think so Divesh won't be having any problem with respect to that. He's a very good person, so you can anytime reach out to him on LinkedIn. So you can type your queries and he will promptly reply. He will promptly try to reply. Okay, won't promptly reply because he is having a busy schedule, as you can see. So I think that's it. And Divesh, we have a signature style of closing the interview. It's like enjoy to the people that they can also enjoy. Ultimately, it's about enjoying. So I would like that we can end the video with that. So enjoy. Okay, thank you.
All the best, everyone. Enjoy. Bye bye.